No.
Hi, everybody. It's Joe Cioffi here on this Sunday as we are approaching the lunchtime hour, and I thought I'd jump in really quick and give an update on what's going on weather-wise. And I want to start off with weather conditions, at least in my neck of the woods, which is from basically covering the area from eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. And a little bit of improvement today, finally, after sitting in an onshore flow. If you watched the Preakness yesterday, you notice that they had a run in the fog until that warm front pushed on through. And by the way, I actually should have come right back. Apologize for that. Too many devices are on at the same time. It causes a bit of a problem. Anyway, this front really doesn't have too much with it as it swings on through to the east. So I'm not expecting anything other than a passing shower or maybe a thunderstorm bubbles up in a couple of spots, but really the risk to this is all very low, and we should just generally improve. I've seen a little bit of sun today. The clouds are being a bit on the stubborn side. The other area of interest, I think, is if you look over to my left, and you can see the visible satellite loop here, and that is showing that you still have that what I've been calling that tropical connection that runs from the Caribbean on northward across Cuba and northward through Florida and into the southeast. So this is where we're likely to see a continuation of some rain. Also, you'll notice that there are clouds swinging across parts of Texas as we've got some action there going into the middle Mississippi Valley for later today. And I'm going to just try to see if I can, let's see if we can swing around and do a few sectors here. Whoops. So there's your full disk view. I wasn't really going for that. And hang on, this is all new to me. All right, you know what? I'm going to have to practice with this, but here's a rare look, though, at least at the full disc shot on the new Goes. I mean, you can just see just how impressive this really looks, and with all the being able to actually see the layers of the clouds, this is going to be a fun shot to use when we start to see tropical storms and hurricanes moving along. You can actually see the beginnings of the intertropical convergence zone in the Pacific and in the Atlantic there. On the weak side at the moment, there are no tropical systems to worry about. The Atlantic hurricane season, as we know, doesn't get underway until June 1st, and the Pacific hurricane season is already underway, but we don't see any tropical storm risks of development anyway. So here's the severe weather risk. Oops. Where did you go? Here's the severe weather risk for today, and there is a large general area of thunderstorms being indicated throughout the eastern half of the United States. But in terms of severe weather, we just have two areas of marginal risk being indicated across parts of Texas. You can see the thunderstorm activity on the radar over Florida, and a marginal risk across Missouri into the southern half of Illinois, the southern half of Indiana, and in through northern Kentucky. I'm not thinking that this is going to be any kind of widespread severe weather outbreak today. So let's just look real quick at where we're going. And by the way, I'm going to do another live stream tonight. I just wanted to update the weather this morning because I really didn't get a chance to do anything yesterday. But you'll notice in the east, we're going to have to jump back one run here. And we do have, this was from overnight and this morning, the system, the tropical connection, as I said, has moved out to the east. Now we get this cold front to move on through. You'll notice that the GFS does show rain throughout much of Florida and in through the Gulf states. And as we move into tomorrow, This area of severe weather on Monday is going to shift into the Ohio Valley, where we do have a slight risk for severe weather there. Should squeeze in a dry day here before we get back into an onshore flow and the chance for some rain here on Tuesday into Tuesday night as a little wave goes by. It's another one of these warm front, cold front things, which can be, horribly problematic, as we saw yesterday. And then we get a front to come through. Now, this is where things start to change a little bit, maybe for the latter part of the week, as a high comes down from the north. And that, I think, will give us 2 or 3 dry days before we head into the Memorial Day holiday weekend. And then we're going to have to watch what looks like a low spinning out of the Northwest Caribbean into over Florida. Now, that could eventually tie itself up with another weather front coming into the east and bring some moisture and showers up the eastern seaboard, perhaps a week from today or a week from tomorrow, which is Memorial Day. But we're going to try to work this out. One of the things that's happening with respect to the upper air is the fact that the jet stream pattern is changing a little bit for this week. We are seeing a flattening of that Atlantic upper high. You can see it here. It's off the East Coast, very strong in the upper air. But gradually what happens this week is that it gets flattened out, and you start to get some systems moving through in the northern jet. It never really completely disappears, notice. It's still there as we move into Tuesday and Wednesday. But then after that, it just kind of flattens a bit. You start to get these troughs that swing down from the north, so that will actually keep things dry and also keep things rather cool for parts of interior northern New England. There's going to be a fairly chilly shot of air coming down later this week up in central and northern New England. But it should be dry here for Wednesday might be a transition day, but certainly Thursday, Friday into Saturday. Now, as we move through the weekend and into next week, you start to get some troughing back down from the Great Lakes down into the Gulf of Mexico again. So there's going to be some kind of weakness developing. So this will perhaps bring in the chance that we could see some rain or showers later Sunday or into Monday, Memorial Day. But we're going to have to see how that plays out. The long-range jet stream pattern showing the northern part of the jet stream getting kind of active and bringing weather fronts through from time to time. So it'll be interesting to see whether that is the case or not. A lot to work through as far as the long range is concerned. But other than that, it's a fairly relatively quiet Sunday. There's nothing too crazy going on and nothing that can't be managed in most places, even where the weather isn't all that good. So let me just come real quick to the boards here and say hi to everybody that's on. Dio Nankamar, Paul Sack, Gary Rivard, Richard, I'm sorry, I'm sure I'm still not awake. Raymond Gulbalt, you just had your downpour in the Capital District with the front going by. Mickey Petrovich, David Fuller, Priscilla Mayo, Stephen Franco, good morning to you. Okie AG, good to see you here. Might be getting some more on and off showers and thunderstorms your way over the next day or two, which I think you'll probably welcome because you've been saying how dry conditions have been in your neck of the woods. Hopefully, you're getting out of that drought pattern that you've been dealing with. All right, folks. Look, it's a Sunday. Let's get out there and enjoy the afternoon, and we'll be back maybe later this evening to do a live stream, and we'll update the weather in a bit more detail as we go into next week. We'll talk about the Memorial Day holiday weekend and the long range as the month of May begins to wrap up and we start to head into the month of June. So have a great Sunday. Be well. We'll see you hopefully this evening. My guess is if it happens, it'll probably be after 9 o'clock Eastern time.